Hi, this is Kelly Brown, and today we're going to talk about Excel functions. Functions are preset formulas that Excel has created already for you that will perform certain equations or operations. They could be a mathematical one or statistical or logical, but all the steps in that mathematical equation will be packaged and set up for you so you don't have to do it yourself, and that's the great thing about functions. So let's have an example here that I have in this worksheet. When you look at the data, you see it says car loan. It has a loan amount and interest rate and pay periods. And it looks like it's looking for us to calculate a monthly payment based on the data available. Well, that would be pretty hard for us to figure out math-wise, but Excel has a function already created that will calculate it for us. To do a function in Excel, we need to go to the ribbon and we need to go to the Formulas tab. Formulas tab. Any type of formula or function you're doing in Excel, you need to go to the Formulas tab. Once we're at the Formulas tab, you will see that there's certain categories already set up for us. There are financial formulas or functions, logical functions, test functions, date and time functions, lookup and reference functions, math and trig functions, and then more that include statistical, engineering, and so on. When you click on it, you will see that you have a list of different functions that are available based on the category that you're looking for. So there's a whole bunch. But in our case, we want to figure out a monthly payment, and we're not sure if one is in there somewhere, so how can we find out? If we go to the ribbon, again with the Formulas tab selected, and we go to the far left, there's a button that says, the very first button there says Insert Function. We click on Insert Function, we have a box that appears that has a search box available to us. So it says type a brief description of what you want to do and then click Go. Well, we want to create a monthly payment, so I'm just going to type monthly payment in that search box. And I'm going to, let's make sure I spell it correctly. And then I'm going to click on the Go button to the right. And then it says recommended, and it has some functions listed in the box below. Well, the very first one is PMT. Let's see what it says. Well, I don't know what that means. If I look below that the select box, it says PMT, and it says calculates the payment for a loan based on a constant payments and a constant interest rate. Well, that sounds like exactly what we want to do, so let's give it a try. So we will click the OK button in the lower right corner, and what we get here is called an argument box. This argument box is like a step-by-step for the function. It tells you exactly what you need, and you place the data in there, click OK, and Excel will calculate that function for you. So let's see what we need to do. There's these are the fields that are going to tell us what data we need in order for the function to be calculated. And the very first one says rate. Well, that kind of makes sense. We need an interest rate in order to calculate a monthly function. But if monthly payment, sorry. But if I wasn't sure what rate meant, I could look below the boxes here, and it says rate is the interest rate per period for the loan. Okay. Well, we know what that is because we have our data over here, and I'm going to click in the cell that has the interest rate. I'm just going to click in that cell. When I click in the cell, you see there's dancing lines around the cell, so we know that cell is selected. And what happens over here is it enters in the cell reference where that data is that is selected. It's in the 4% is in cell B3, column B, row 3, cell B3. So we see the cell reference, and if you look to the right, we see it says 0.04. Well, we know that 4% and 0.04 are the same thing. So we know we have the right data in this cell for rate. So let's move on to the next one. Now it says NPER. Well, that's a little tougher. Not sure what that means. So I'm going to click in that cell, and then below again it's giving me a description. It says NPER is the total number of payments for the loan. Okay, that helps. Total number of payments. We have data here that says pay periods. So that sounds like the same thing. So I'm going to click in the cell that contains that data, the pay periods or the total number of payments for the loan. Again, when I look there, it gives me the cell reference of that data. We see the dancing lines. We see it's in column B, row 4. So the cell reference is B4. And if I look to the right, it says 45, and that's the data that's in that cell. So we're all good. So let's move on to the next one. Next one says PB. Again, not sure what that means. I'm going to click in that cell. Then below it's going to tell me that PB is the present value, the total amount that series of future payments is worth now. Well, that sounds like the loan amount, right? So I'm going to click in the cell that has the loan amount. I see the dancing lines around the cell. I see it's in column B2. I see cell reference B2 there, and to the right I see 35,000, which is the amount that's in that cell. So we're all good. So now you may notice that some of the data that they're asking for here are in bold text and some is not in bold text. So we want to make sure, we're wondering why. When we're working with the function arguments, the fields that are in bold text are absolutely required in order for the function to calculate. The fields that are not in bold are not absolutely required. You could still calculate the function without putting data there. But let's see what these, so we know we have the data that we need to calculate the function, but let's see what these other ones are. So let's click where it says FV, place our cursor in there, and it says is the future value. Well, we don't know the future value. We don't care about the future value, so I don't think we need to put any data there. Let's click on the next one that says type, and type says it is a logical value. Well, we're not dealing with logic either. We're dealing with real numbers. So I don't think we need to put any data in there. And if we look in the lower left corner, you're going to see that it already has given a formula result here based on the data that we've already entered in the fields that were bolded. So we're good to go. So all I need to do to calculate this formula is now click the OK button in the bottom right corner. When I click the OK button, an amount appears. You'll notice it's in red text. Excel puts it in red text because this is money owed or money due, and that's how Excel formats those types of data. And we have an amount of $1,689.19 based on a $35,000 loan at an interest rate of 4% and 45 pay periods. Well, if I'm on a budget and that's a little higher than I wanted it to be, I can manipulate these numbers to see what I can do to get it lower. Right now I have 45 pay periods, but maybe I want to up it to 60 pay periods. All I would need to do is click in the cell that has the pay period data and type in 60 instead of 45. You notice that the monthly payment has not changed. It will change once I hit the enter key. When I hit the enter key, it will recalculate the formula and I have a new result of that formula, and it's a little bit lower, so that's good. But it's not low enough. I'm going to try now to see if I can decrease the interest rate. I'm going to see if maybe I can get that. So I'm going to change it from 4% to 3%. Again, the monthly payment does not change until I hit the enter key, and when I hit the enter key, you will see that the monthly payment has changed and decreased. Well, looking at that, maybe I just can't afford a $35,000 car. So I'm going to click in $35,000 in the loan amount, and I'm going to change it to $30,000. Oops. And now, again, need to hit the enter key to see the recalculation. Enter, and now I've got it a little bit lower. So this is a great way for an example of how a function works, and this one in particular is able to create or calculate a monthly payment for you. So this is an introduction to Excel functions.